Yo, how are you doing, folks? Welcome to episode 25 of the Simpa Life Podcast with your host, Simpa Carter. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and cohort, Mr. Maka. How are you today, sir?
I am as well as can be. Fuck that up. I was even going to throw it over right at the end of that fucking sentence. Just keep it nice, fucking succinct, grand, outdone.
Nah, we're going to be episode 250, and we're not going to get this intro right. This is the point of it. We stumble, we fall, we get up, get back up, and we move on with it. And on that note, folks, I will introduce today's guest. Today's guest is a legend within the UK cannabis scene. Do you want to just go again?
Oh, he's paused. No, I absolutely fucking don't. Leave that shit in. Raw,
baby.
Raw,
we're gonna leave
and
it
present. Raw and present. And hang on, is Gary back? Gary's back. Sound.
Sweet. Well, then, since we're leaving this raw and ready, folks, and I'm just about to break my mic stand, so give me a moment. I love it. We're messing everything up today. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh, fuck's sake. How's it going, Gary? You all right?
Oh, living the dream now.
Good lad. So tell the people who you are, Gary.
I'm a coffee shop pioneer who's going to bring good and show everybody the ways to do things.
Oh, now he's talking, boy. Now he's talking.
I'm the answer to everybody's problems.
This is like blind date. Fucking hell, I'm definitely picking you, lad. Go ahead.
Sorry about that, folks. Our guest today is Gary Youds. Gary is a legend within the UK cannabis community. He was one of the first to set up what is now termed cannabis social clubs here in the UK back in 2002 with the Chillin rooms. Gary has subsequently been in and out of courts and prisons fighting for the UK to have, and especially Liverpool, to have a cannabis social space for people to consume. And so, Gary, please tell us about the history of this. Tell us how you got started and what you've got planned.
It was a conference in 2002 called Shaping New Agenda. It was a cannabis conference. And me being a businessman, I thought, right place, right time. It's going to be legalized in 6 weeks. So, cut a long story short, 20 years later, after three jailings and being on bail, jail, license tag or probation, I'm finally getting a voice, and hopefully we're going to shape the agenda for the whole industry. We've got a plan, and it's well in for everybody else as well. Our plan is it's a plan of good. It's a plan of giving back and growing our communities and just bringing about peace. And Chillin rooms has been well advanced in the movement type of thing. We've been operating underground for many days and many months on end, and every day just got better. I mean, the community got more organic, and we brought bands together, and we brought free thinkers and journalists and DNA scientists and every other trade or
profession,
just free thinker, and just brought us together in a safe place, and just going to show people how to do it, and hopefully ignite the debate and joint efforts needed type of thing with all of us. And I've got the boardroom ready to go. I've got the chilling rooms ready to go. So I just want to, hopefully the law's going to change in the next few weeks, I'm foreseeing. I know I've been saying it for 20 years, but I've had access to the Conservative drug policy reform, the Labour drug policy reform, so they're all singing our song now, and we all know the words.
I have to admit, I spiked up when you said 6 weeks. I'm like, where did you get that number from? Now I'm very curious about that. What way did you react, Simpa?
So that set up me. The Conservative drug policy reform group and the Labour drug policy reform group are set up by corporation. They are ran by corporate interests. We know this already with Crispin Blunt's involvement in the Conservative drug policy reform group. I get that they are singing tunes that we know. I'll admit that, Gary. We may know some of the words, but I don't think we're singing from the same hymn sheets. I don't think they want to give us as much control and as much of the market that we want that they think that we want, if that makes sense.
I've had contact with Professor Mike Barnes. I've been to London to meet him.
Right.
I've been speaking with Anthony Lehane from Labour. So it's going to be grassroots. I mean, you can go and buy it from Sapphire Clinics now, can't you? I think there's one in Liverpool, there's one in Manchester. I know they're taking one to Glasgow soon. So if they can sell it, rather than taking people's money, Chillin Room's ethos is grow your own, and any extra, bring to Chillin Rooms to our community and put your name to it through our app type of thing. And we'll all be accounted for. So like seed to sale, we've got all the answers in place. We've got a top accountant who's Birmingham Chamber of Commerce accountants. She's the award-winning accountant, future face of finance, 2021 winner, and she's on the Treasury Committee. So there's a commercial, like a we won't call it a blueprint. We'll call it the green print. So what's gonna?
I like that. That's good.
So we're gonna literally roll it out everywhere. So Chillin Rooms is going to come to every town and city. So what I say to people is, you've got this unique opportunity now to think of your brand, think of your name, and tell your friends, your community, and it'll just grow exponentially, and we'll all grow together. We all want the same thing, which is freedom to grow our own. So, I mean, that's what the main thing is. It's going to be our ethos, so it's all going to be locally produced, and any extra, bring to our little community, and we'll retail it for you.
So how did they regulate? How would they regulate that? What's this think tank or this body? What are they looking to do? They're looking to decriminalize, legalize, create a trial period.
We're going to have a tolerated, safe space, free from hard drugs, free from crime, so everyone's accounted for. So you'll have to join up to our app. So we'll all be regulated with the app, so like type of thing.
But then what gives them legal protection if somebody signs up to the app? If they're a member of your club, how are they different than somebody walking down the street who's then got cannabis in their pocket and will still face criminalization?
Well, hopefully, all the other things, what's happening in the industry, as I say, I was on a Zoom meeting with Carly Canaccord last week for an hour. And she's like, she's saying, grow your own, and nobody should be arrested. And Liverpool is the most biased.
But Carly's only saying that for medical patients, for medical cannabis.
Yeah.
Is this to say that Chillin Rooms is to become a medical cannabis club?
Well, it's recreational, it's therapeutic, it's harm reduction, it's safe space, it's off the street, it's tax.
Sorry, Gary, would there be any sort of qualifying condition, like would you have to satisfy something to actually join your club or join your app? Or can anybody join?
Well, it's going to be an invite only, so it's not just going to be public. It's going to be, you're going to have to be invited. So It's going to be it's whoever my friends bring and whoever their friends bring type of thing.
Is that not an extension of the same problem that we have with the prescription at the minute? That some people who have been given permission are legally protected while the vast majority remain criminalized?
I know Liverpool people are criminalised every single day, and there's parts of the country where aren't criminalised, i.e. Durham, North Wales.
Durham are very much back to criminalisation. Literally, as soon as they put Ron Hogg, bless him, his bones in the ground, they went back to criminalisation. Yeah. They are still raiding. They have changed and had a volte-face, to steal a phrase, in policy in Durham. They're not representing. I quietly suspect that the reason Arthur Jones is retiring and not standing for re-election is because he is getting pushed back against his progressive policies and ideas.
I was just about to say
that's my opinion on it. Yeah.
Liverpool is electing a new crime commissioner on May the 6th this year.
Good point.
And it's going to be up for public vote. Mm-hmm. So me and my community and our organic free thinkers are going to vote these people in for 4 years, so they're not going to get voted in. Ron Hogg started.
Sorry, I was going to say which candidates, because looking at the electorate. I mean, they're being announced tomorrow, as far as I'm aware. So by the time people are listening to this, you will be able to go out and the candidates are released a month before the election. The election is May the 6th.
I know. I've already seen the 4 candidates. There's already a PDF.
But that's I think the deadline for registration of candidate. I think you can register within a month, so there can still be some last minute candidates.
I see.
But looking at the main political parties, the Green Party are the only one who are offering a policy around social consumption. Everybody else, especially Labour, are still very much anti-decriminalisation of drugs.
Yeah, in Merseyside, as far as I'm aware, the only person that has any sort of drug reform on their sort of summarised, was going to say ballot. It's not really a ballot, but just go with it for this example, right? But you know what I mean? Just the summary beside their picture, and only the Green candidate had that. And it specifically spelled out homegrown cannabis as well. So,
does Liverpool have a mayor?
Fuck's sake, dude! You can't ask that. You can't ask that.
Why? Why?
I'll tell you all about that.
Have I just said something offensive?
No. Liverpool's mayor has just been sacked for corruption. He's been arrested.
Oh. Sorry, no. The only reason I bring it up is Sadiq Khan has just announced in the past couple of days that if he gets re-elected in London, he will look towards decriminalising cannabis. And he's kind of trying to step away from Keir Starmer and the party line.
Yeah, it's posturing though, isn't it? Because here's the thing: how the fuck is he going to get that passed if the fucking head of the fucking at the very, very top, they're just going to push it down? That's my fear about all the political parties that are going to say, right, we need some sort of drug reform. Is it just fucking posturing, or is it something that is not going to get blocked at the very fucking top?
We see. Sorry to keep just. Jumping this, but we've seen this before. In 2018, the so-called recreational or adult consumption community in the UK were astroturfed into supporting medical cannabis, and we were told that they would represent us, that everything would be grow your own, that there'd be social consumption, that they would hold the door for us, and they would let us come through with them. They very quickly slammed that door in our face, and they did an about turn, and they immediately went to importation rather than domestic production. So my fear in this is that with the whip system working in the parties, no MP can do anything unless it is the mandate of the party, because they'll just withdraw the whip and then they can't hold a mandate to run anywhere.
Yeah. Is there any?
What I'd say to that is unprecedented times call for like real change from people like you and me. Okay, and this can create 5 million jobs. Okay, the country's never been in such a position. Now, there was 100,000 pubs in its heyday, so we can have 100,000 coffee shops, can't we? So all these people can employ 20 people, and they can give back all the growers. And okay, this is the moment in history where like it's all like
it doesn't
changes.
With all respect, you know, I've got nothing but respect and love for you, Gary. It kind of sounds like it's a moment where one entity gets to monopolize. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't seem to get my head around what it is that the other people that are helping you with this in terms of the Conservative Drug Policy Group, etc., what their intention is with changing the law. Because if you don't change the law, we can't have this. And if we then do, we create a grey area of discrimination, which is what we've currently got with air quotes medical cannabis. So we're told that if you can afford it, you can get a prescription and you're legal. Then there's a grey area of can card, Medican card, etc., that then says that, oh, you could or you should qualify for this, but you don't get in there. So then if you guys create an app and Chill Rooms then starts rolling out clubs in various regions, what's to stop others then opening other clubs that are not affiliated or associated or run under the same model and go, well, if they're allowed to do it, why can't we?
Well, hopefully the app, it's not my app, it's going to be everybody's app. So your club can upload to the app, and the app will be like a database for us all to pay our accounts and all to pay our growers and book our seats. So I can just be one little club in one little part of the city or one part of the country.
But who's the app?
Yeah, who's making that?
You can own the app. All the members can own the app. Okay, it can be like a community of good. Okay, my vision is for everybody. It's not about me. I want to leave our egos at the door, and we all want the same things, type of thing. So it's I don't want to own anything. I want to release it for everybody else.
No, nothing can exist in this world that is not owned. We live in a world where property is everything. Possession is 9/10 of the law. So what worries me is data acquisition. We now live in a world where metadata is more valuable than oil. So there is not a physical, materialistic resource that is more valuable than the shit we generate every day through using apps, through interacting with technology. And so, like I said, what worries me is that whenever anything is free, you are the product. Do you know what I mean? So then I get what you're saying that then the app would be owned by the members of the club, but then unless it's incorporated as, say, with a constitution and as, say, a democratic board of individuals that then would have a voting right within it to be able to change that, I can't see how a corporate structure could be wholly owned by the people without it being some form of cooperative.
The first question to sort of, even before you even analyze any of that, is just clarify, like, who's programming the app? Who is actually doing, do you know what I mean, all of the little symbols and whatnot? Because
I'll tell you about him. He's a great man. He's a Shaolin monk. He comes. I've been to London. I've met him. He's come and spent the weekends with me. He's totally cool. He's trustworthy. He's Asian, and he's going to take children rooms to China for me. Okay, and just being in his presence elevated my. Just elevated me into like artificial intelligence. It's already here. We're already involved with it. Okay, everybody's got a smartphone, haven't they? And what I foresee is no cash, so I can fill your organic wallet. So if you have got cannabis in the future and you want to trade it in for a flight to Australia, well, it's tradable, it's tax paid, it's all above board.
Canacoin.
You've planted the seed.
So would this be some form of cryptocurrency, or would it use sort of digital
bank accounts? It's a green currency. We haven't got the currency sorted, but I mean, this currency is going to grow.
I was going to say, cryptocurrency is incredibly destructive.
Just put it out there.
I know if you grow a kilo of cannabis for £50, if you put it into my platform, it can generate £10,000 out of what, £10 a gram. So that is new. That is all new finance we're going to generate between our clubs. So if I'm going to pay £1 million next year tax, and I'm going to pay £3 million for good courses. So I'm a little unit in like a little private place in a rough part of Liverpool, and I'm going to employ 30 people. I'm going to set a boardroom up for another 40 people, and I'm going to take children rooms to every disadvantaged community right throughout the UK, every town, city and large village, and I'm going to invest in the roughest areas where no one else will invest. I'm going to build these cathedrals of peace, and I'm going to do everything right with integrity. And we've literally been doing it getting on for 20 years now. So we fine-tuned it to a fine engine, and it's pairing on every little bit. All the suppliers and the fuel and everything's organic.
Is this vision contingent on the law changing to your advantage, or are you working to do something to change the law so it can work?
Maybe me, you, Robert Jappy, all my other directors can sit down and write the manifesto so it has got equity and unify the whole nation and get us all back to work and give us all a little spring in our step and get us out of our houses and, provide a safe place and listen to the live music and meet the new people and, this is all the things that we're about.
Absolutely. Like 100% agree. With the intentions, 100% love it. Love the idea. I want to see it do exactly what you've just said. I wanted it to go into and help me. Reinvest back into the local community and strengthen it. That's exactly what I want.
Millions of pounds, what's untaxed now, and it's just, if it's the black market, it's just like wiping your hands and saying, get on with it. So there's no regulation whatsoever. So what we're going to bring is seed to sale, real regulation, like giving back to the communities what have been disadvantaged with the drug war, and free the flower prisoners and all these little things.
So the only way we could free flower prisoners, the only way we can get anyone out of prison is with expungement. Expungement again can only come with legislative change. So again, I come back to the whole thing. So this might sound a sensitive question, but do you own the Chillin rooms? Is it something that you own the trademark of, that you own the intellectual property of?
Chillin rooms is me for the last 20 years. I created it from nothing. I built it. I designed it. I'm everything. I'm its ethos. I'm its integrity. I'm its planner. I'm its... So, I mean, we're right at the end. We're the light at the end of the tunnel for lots of people, right? And lots of people can copy off me, and nothing's wrote down, so we can write the manifesto with professionals like you, Simpa, and you, Macher, and whoever else is on me board, like, because it's really, this is the answer to everybody's problems. Okay, I can get us all back out of our houses, and it ticks every box for everybody.
Yeah. So I appreciate the enthusiasm, I really do, but I mean, it's 2021 now. Colorado and Washington State voted to quotes legalize cannabis in 2012. Colorado are only just now pulling their finger out and trying to figure out lounges and social consumption. The contingency that was written into the New York legislation that's just passed that allows for some form of social consumption, but they are keeping it so ambiguous because no one has yet cracked this model, because it falls into so many legal issues. You've got tax evasion, you've got proceeds of crime, you've got multiple violations of the Misuse of Drugs Act. You've then got transporting goods, you've got cultivation, you've got production. All of these things infringe on slightly different regulations. There's so much nuance of law that would have to be obfuscated for this to work. So in my head, there's only two ways it can work. One is you have kind of what Mike Barton and Ron Hogg were trying to do, which was the former chief constable and the former PCC, police crime commissioner of County Durham, and they tried to create de facto decriminalization. They created a side door by which, if you were caught publicly with it, you would go into this side door. You would kind of be told off for a little bit in a room, and then you go away. They were told you wouldn't have a kind of a conviction, but actually you'd have a low service conviction that would still show up on when you got a background check. So it wasn't really a form of decriminalization. It was a form of keeping you out of the courts to save them money. So I then still come back to this, that if it's then the answer to sort of our prayers, that has to be full ubiquitous decriminalization. So again, I'm curious as to how that could work. I mean, I did read.
I think the space will have that answered all them questions, won't it? If that's a regulated, safe space where consumption is allowed, where it's not frowned upon, and is regulated.
But even under is it 2006, what became the Tobacco Act, which banned smoking inside, 2005, 2006? Somebody correct me on that.
Well, because it's a private place, Simpa. You go into a private place.
So it kind of works in the same way as gentlemen's clubs work in the UK.
Yes. You're going to be invited into my private place.
Okay, so that covers something. So then you're going to end up with what the Dutch termed the backdoor problem. So they will set regulation on it, but you'll only be allowed, say, 500 grams on site at any given time.
Yeah, well, I used to stick to all them rules in the Dutch rules, because I went on a coffee shop course with Noel van Scheek in 2003 with a lot of other activists, with Colin Davis and Jeff Ditchfield and Leslie and Mark Gibson. We're all on this course, from the day. So I know how Amsterdam works, and I've been to Spain type of thing, and it's just going to be a lot more Scouts involved with it. A lot of Amsterdam, a lot of Spain, but a lot of Scouts know our creative, our music, and our welcoming place.
So what have the sort of the governmental and advisors and people that you've been speaking with, what have they said about sort of taxation?
Well, the accountant who's the Birmingham Chamber of Commerce and future face of finance winner, she's all for it. I told her the business plan. Each club will have 100 different growers growing for it, all connecting with the app. So seed to sale, it's paid the tax, and so just off the street. Our model is we'll call us the black market now type of thing. So I am the black market.
Right. I would say unregulated market. Black market carries with it quite a lot of racial connotations from its.
Well, that's what we have been, isn't it? But we're not going to be the black market no more. We're going to be the new market type of thing. The green avalanche is here type of thing. And it's going to bring equity.
A question that I'd have then would be, say, if you were a prospective grower that was going to work with, say, with your model, right? So there's 100 growers. Would they have any sort of protection from the law?
Yeah, their grow room would be regulated. They'd have like a little a bigger fuse in. Maybe you could have your own CCTV to your phones, no type of thing. So, right. But it would also be good for your you'd have a few photographs along its 3 months conception from seed to sale type of thing. You'd have like a little visual So like people could look at it or know it's coming on the market in a few weeks. And if your reputation is good as your last crop, I mean, it'll already be sold before it's actually hit the table type of thing. So,
So what
the growers are going to be really famous.
What stops the grower from
Getting busted?
growing 100 kilos, selling to you 50 kilos, and selling 50 kilos to the unregulated market at a higher cost?
Well, because it's going to be seed to sale, isn't it? As I say, we're going to have some type of maybe square area, or like it'll be a proper license. The club will license the grow room.
So, right. But what gives the club the license? Because as far as I'm aware, I had a conversation recently with some guys on the Isle of Man, and they've basically, without giving too much, I can do this loosely without giving too much away. Basically, they're in the works of getting a cultivation license, a high THC cannabis cultivation license, and they're looking at the possibility of creating sub-licenses within that. So what they could do is be the master holder of the license in the same way that, say, a shop would hold an alcohol license, but then they could put subs on this, so other subsidiaries that could grow for them. They would be part of a syndicate or a network or a cooperative of growers. So that is being explored. As far as I'm aware, no one has yet put in an application testing this. Obviously, we know that only 2 applications have ever gone through in the past, 23 years. But people are still considering this. So would that be something that you would look at doing? Because again, there'd have to be some form of legal protection to stop then, say, I don't know, Netpol or any international organization then coming after you, even if the British government decided not to.
I think because the position we're in now with the 20 years behind the scenes, we can write the laws type of thing, and they're not going to be laws. They're going to be like beneficial to everybody. So it's everybody's thought of type of thing, from the people who's growing the 4 plants or the person who's making the cup of tea, or, you know, it's going to bring equity to everybody. So that's the position. I'd like every single club that the cannabis grown within 5 or 6 miles of that club. So every different club will have its own local growers who can bring it to them type of thing. So it's bring it on your scooter and your backpack type of thing, and we'll just ping your organic money.
So what would protect that person then? So say if they're protected, if the cops break into their house and they see there's this tent of X amount of plants that they've been approved to grow, they then avoid criminalization there. What happens when they're pulled over with 4 kilos in the boot on the way to deliver it? Are they still protected then?
Well, obviously, you'd be an affiliated grower, wouldn't you? It'd be like, this is tax paid. You can't just steal this. Okay, this is accounted for. We've got an account with Chillin rooms. This is taxable. There's me accounts. There's me books. Okay.
So what stops? Because I mean, the main thing that a lot of people that I work with, some quite obviously very well-known people in the UK at the minute, I'm not going to name just because we're quietly working on things. They're working with a lot of legal people in the UK at the minute and getting really quite successful in building defenses against certain cases. And so one of the main things that they're struggling with is this idea of taxation, of how then you pay tax to avoid those kind of crimes. Because I mean, if you look at someone like Al Capone, who was like the godfather of alcohol prohibition, they eventually got him on racketeering and tax evasion. It was because they got the tax evasion, they managed to get the racketeering and work their way down to charge. They didn't get him for the mass murders, they didn't get him for any of the other things that he was responsible and directly responsible for, but they got him because he didn't file the right paperwork. So again, that's one of the things that worries me, that if you don't wholly own the intellectual property, or if you don't incorporate in such a way that makes you the majority shareholder, that the entities and the people that are currently guiding you won't then just suddenly start turning left and walk you off a cliff and be left with an international model.
I am the guiding light, and my integrity goes far. All right, I've been working in this industry for 20 years, and I've done tens of thousands of deals, from the smallest grower to like the biggest. Whatever. I mean, we've shaped the agenda.
But that's not dealing with the big boys. That's not dealing with the guys who have trillions in their portfolios. You know, the people who dwarf what Tilray and Aurora and okay.
A few years ago, I was at a fancy conference in Birmingham, and I got one of the corporate fellas, and I said to him, listen, if you want to compete with me and my friends, you've got to produce cannabis for between £5 and £10 an ounce, because that's what we're producing it for. So I mean, that's the market, £5 an ounce type of thing. So if you want to compete with that, you can compete with me.
But then not obviously going to want to compete with that. That was the point I was making before.
Okay, well, they're not going to be part of this industry then, aren't they? Because this industry is going to be homegrown. Okay, it's going to be by the community for the community. And it's going to be coming together like like-minded people.
But I don't see how that can work without legal protection, because every other place that's legalized, if you look at America, you look at Canada, you look at what's happened, their legalization, air quotes, so-called legalization, has actually meant that the illicit market, the unregulated market, is booming, because the costs and the impediments of tax and the fact that they want to standardize and hold at a very profitable rate means that the illicit market will continue to thrive.
Okay, that's where chilling rooms will make a difference. Okay, it'll be above board. Everyone will be accounted for. And as I say, maybe we can take chilling rooms to New York. We can take it to Ireland. We can take it to all these municipalities who are looking for this type of regulation. As I say, I've been working on it for 20 years and it's worked fine for me. It's just going to be elevated with the artificial intelligence and, seat to sale type of thing, and booking your seats and bringing us all together. So I've got all the answers. Type of thing.
So here's what exactly are you waiting for to actually get this up and running then?
COVID.
What, just COVID to stop?
COVID is the only restriction now, yeah. As far as I'm concerned, as soon as I open them shutters, the war's over and everyone can partake in this new green avalanche of good and provide jobs for their community.
So day one, right? Because here's the thing. By the way, just to point out, right? The only reason that we're sort of asking you all of these questions is I fucking want this to happen. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just intrigued. I'm intrigued, right? So day one, you open up. What stops the police knocking at your door straight off the bat and going, do you know what?
Okay.
It says on this piece of paper, you know what I mean? You're breaking the law. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm going to take everything. What's going to stop them from doing that?
Well, they've been doing that for 20 years. But last time I was in the court case, the judge got a standing ovation. Simple, you were there. There was lots of support for me. And I walked out of there with my head high. And a lot of other times before that, I haven't come home type of thing. So I'm not on probation no more. I'm still on bail for a few things. But as I say, times change, unprecedented times to call for direct action, and we're the key to the door for the whole industry. So everyone can have a chilling rooms, or you can get your brand up and running and open your club. Okay, that's what chilling rooms does. It just releases it for everybody.
So what are the advisors and people that you've been in communication with saying about capping THC, for example? What's their narrative around cannabis?
I haven't heard no one capping no THC.
Because what's currently happening in Washington and a few of the states in America is we've exported our skunk psychosis myth from the UK. So they're pushing that narrative to the point they want to cap concentrates at 30%. So it's actually pressure from the medical cannabis industrial complex trying to restrain so-called recreational or adult consumption so that you can't actually afford the threshold to get access to therapeutic levels.
Would there be any...
What happened in Amsterdam is they done that with 20%, didn't they? And everyone went to Barcelona.
Yeah. But
that's what happened when they capped it. So Amsterdam was it's curtailed itself by doing that, hasn't it? So all the people in the clubs in Spain are not
with the
THC.
With the mayor of Amsterdam, the new female mayor of Amsterdam, I believe actually maybe the first female mayor of Amsterdam, she's put forward some very controversial plans that are then going forward. So they're looking to restrict within the city limits of Amsterdam access to the coffee shops to locals. They're looking to finally restrain, after 30, 40 years of free reign, and create a legal regulated model. Obviously, the Dutch are trialing, I think, in 3 cities and a handful of locations, government growing cannabis, where they're then regulating it to deal with the backdoor problem to create a succinct model of taxation. What worries me about what this model could then do is it then puts and empowers the corporate entities rather than a government entity. The one thing that I would like to see more than anything is a Bureau of Cannabis, is the Ministry of Cannabis. So there is a minister appointed to this that looks in all of this, not to allow for any one organization or entity to conglomerate and monopolize and take control of the market. I think that has to come at the same time as a full descheduling. So there is no criminalization for any activity with cannabis, because anything other than that is just a continuation of the war on cannabis.
I think it should be you.
If I can still get arrested for walking down the street because I'm part of a club, but it isn't a chill rooms club, but somebody who can, that's still a discrepancy we have to fight for. So therefore the war still continues. Do you know what I mean?
There's bits of politics what we need to cross this and dot that, and there's little bits of things because it's all new and nobody knows what's going to happen. But as I say, I've got to work a model there, and everyone can learn off me and cross the I's and dot the T's. But its morals and its integrity is its reputation goes before it. As I say, and the green carpet will be rolled out for all these cool people. And as I say, we're literally weeks away from this boardroom opening, so
just to sort of reel back there, just the question I had was just regarding, because you said seed to flower, right? So that's quite interesting. Well, what for the likes of concentrates and say solids or edibles or anything like that? So where would they fit into the Chillin Rooms model?
I'd like to be importing from Morocco all the finest hashes and that and things like that. Maybe we could make our own hash from our own local produced cannabis and our own tinctures and our own little medibles. And okay, we're going to have bakers and joiners and air conditioning engineers and decorators and accountants and bookkeepers, and we're going to need all these little skills, and everyone will sort of grow together in there, and it's just sort of come together, and okay, everything will be done digitally, so there's no cash in there. So
it's not.
It's really going to simplify it.
It's not restricted to just flower then.
Well, no, not at all. If it's cannabis and it's locally produced, it's going to be retailed in one of our establishments. Yeah, but as I say, it's sold with people's got to put the name to it. You're going to know where the flowers come from, what THC. It's going to have some type of testing involved in it. It's going to make sure it's not mouldy. It's not going to have it's not going to be damp. It's going to be grown with love. And one of our members. So the more the club turns over, type of thing, the more it's beneficial to the whole community. And I'll definitely, from me last times I was opening and the turnover we would have, I'm going to definitely pay £1 million tax. I'm going to have £3 million for good causes, because we are a community interest company and we are going to be giving like 65% of the profits back to whatever our committee decides what's in need at that moment in time. But we'll have the resources in place, as I say, because we're going to grow these communities from scratch right now, from grassroots. And as I say, you can plant a seed, or you can water a plant, or you can wash a dish. You're going to be welcoming you with open arms in our community, and we'll have a job for you. And we'll just have an organic future, all of us coming together. As I say, Simpa, if you can help me write the manifesto, we all know what's right and wrong, and we just want equity for everybody. We want to unify the whole industry and bring everybody together, which is you, Seed Our Future, Carly's Amnesty. We've got the Cannabis Social Clubs. We've got whatever else. We're all singing the same song, and it's only getting louder and louder, as I say. And I'm that close to putting the keys in the door. It's just a final little pin now. And as I say, we've got like all party support type of thing. So we'll write the rules and the manifesto of Simpa. I'd like you on my board if you're good at writing type of thing, because I'm not educated. I never went to school, but I've got really good skills. I've got vision. I've got I call myself supervision type of thing, because I've been planning this for 20 years, as I say, and we're just going to we're all going to grow together.
It's
nice, mate.
It's great. Yeah, I'm happy to help sort of where I can. Like I said, if previously and in private, that once you build a board, if you were to offer me a seat, like I said, I would more than happily take that. Because ultimately, more than anything, I think you should be recompensed for this in a way that I don't think a lot of other people that could potentially be involved in this project would want for you. I think that first and foremost, your ideal and your vision and your morals are around rebuilding and re-enriching and reinvigorating communities that have been decimated by decades of prohibition is a wonderful vision. It truly is. What worries me is what I have seen of air quotes legalization around the world. I've been lucky enough to travel to quite a few places and see what, again, air quotes legalization does. I've done enough research to understand the difference of de facto, de jure in decriminalization models and the various continuation of criminalization that occurs through both legalization and decriminalization. So this is why I've always advocated for a new hybridized system of something larger, something more. And I think what you offer is potentially the mechanism by which we could create social equity if it was stringently regulated and regimented to a degree that it couldn't be weaponized against the people it's purporting to help. It couldn't then suddenly turn around once it's got 2-3 million users and use that data, sell it off to create another form of enslavement through a Prohibition 2.0. Because ultimately, if any consumer, cultivator, or trader of cannabis faces criminalization, then we haven't ended prohibition. We've just diluted it a little.
Yeah. Basically, I think Simpa's fear, just to be nice and short for once, is he does not want to see your gusto, aim, and ambition coerced. Doesn't want to, do you know what I mean? For somebody to come in and just fucking twist it and take advantage. I think Gary's frozen. Are you frozen? He's frozen. Fuck.
Oh.
I hope you heard this. I really fucking do.
I really just thought he was intently listening. Damn it.
No.
Oh, the joys of modern
Let's
technology.
see if we can get him back in. Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back. There he is. All right, your audio's gone.
Audio.
Can't hear you.
Oh, that's weird. It says he's unmuted, but there's no sound. He says he can hear us, but I can't.
I'll tell you what, Gary, if you want to jump out and jump back in, you should just re-click it. So I'll boot you out and then just jump back in. It might kick it back in.
This is
There he is.
Real... No, I'm here. I haven't gone away. No. Hang on, I'm back.
Sorry for our listeners at home, folks.
Hi.
Hey, are you back in
Good
live
man.
time?
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear you.
I never went away. I could hear everything. It must have just been I don't know what happened.
No, it just froze up on our side. We thought you were like this.
No, I was still there. I was still moving on my bit.
Did you hear everything that went down?
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
All right, nice one.
Sweet,
Grand.
Yeah, so the other point that I did want to thank you for raising earlier, which I kind of didn't mention previously, was testing. Obviously, you said that growers would then, as it were, put their face to it. They would be able to create a brand that others would then be able to associate to it. But then what sort of first sort of regulations and criteria would they have to meet to be able to provide product? And what sort of legal regulation would there be? So what if a member then sold you some cannabis that was, say, sprayed with spice or was tainted with a fertilizer or something that then meant that people got sick?
Well, it'll be tested as soon as it comes in the premises for mold and whatever else. But I mean, I don't think one of my members is going to be spraying the cannabis with spice, as I say, because I've been...
But one thing we have seen in Spain this past year is big gangs moving in where the clubs are getting soft. There's only, a couple of hundred regulated and legal clubs. I'm air quoting there for people who can't see this. Spanish clubs. A chunk of them, not too much of a large chunk, but a good chunk recently are having serious financial problems because they become reliant on tourism for all they weren't supposed to provide access to tourists. As COVID has then kicked in and Spain's going through its own turmoil, as it has been for quite a while recently, socioeconomically and politically, the clubs have been taken over by serious organized gangs. They're basically walking in with guns, emptying the place out and going, this is ours now. Sign it over to us and fuck off. And then the guys are leaving. Yeah. So then they own that business. They're then using it to funnel and export that weed around the world because Barcelonian grown weed is top shelf. They grow some quality weed in Spain and they know this. So they can export it and it lands into other exotic markets and it becomes highly valuable. And so that's
all more reason to regulate it, isn't it? As I say, nobody's going into a pub and taking over with shotguns, as I say, because it's regulated.
But that's not because it's regulated. That's because it's not scheduled. Alcohol isn't a scheduled drug, so therefore it's not regulated as a drug. So there is no gangster violence. There is no whatever because there is no prohibition of alcohol. It is one of the most easily available drugs in the UK. You can buy it 24 hours. You can buy it at petrol stations on the side of the motorway, for God's sake now. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So when cannabis gets to that point, then I'll say it's cannabis is at the end of criminalization for cannabis has happened.
Yeah, well, it's right here, right now. It really is. We're going to open them shutters soon. Really, and we're going to bring regulation, and as I say, we can all partake in this green revolution. And you know, that's use our chilling room as the green print type of thing, we'll call it. And as I say, we're just going to give back, and then hopefully everyone else can open their clubs and think of their brand name and their whatever they want. Okay, whether they can work in their friends or open their own. Okay, it's open to everybody. That's what chilling rooms is going to do. It's opening the door to freedom. And it's going to bring prosperity, real harmony, real coming together, and just get us all back together and, you know, provide that safe place. And I'm really proud of what we've achieved over the last 20 years type of thing. And we've got a bit of recognition now, and hopefully everything I've said is going to be beneficial and, you know, just going to ignite the debate. And as I say, joint efforts needed with all of us, and we're all going to sing on the same song. And I say, you coming together and see that future. And we've got all the other organisations, Phil WTU. We've got, you know, see that future and say outlaw, and we've got everybody
with the app, and with the idea of then no currency. Is that contingent on how it has to run from day one?
Well, it's just much better.
Be taking cash.
No, we won't be. Won't ever be taking cash ever again in there. It's going to be cashless.
So what I'm thinking is then, if you're saying the club is set to open within mere weeks, then how much of a...
Well, initially, the app is only going to be taking your memberships and booking your seat. Okay, then as we develop the app, i.e. we're going to be turning over money and that, we're going to be bringing the growers onto the app then, and then we'll bring we'll be adding to it as we go.
Yeah, so
but as it goes, the app will be developed to take your membership details and, you know, provide a safe place.
What will that entail?
That'll entail just giving you details in, but the security is going to be like passport security type of thing, because our app designer designs bank apps.
So I've heard this from other organisations, not to sort of belittle that idea for a second. Is that Facebook the other day admitted that 533 million people's phone numbers and personal details were leaked. Mm-hmm. Facebook are one of the largest encrypted corporations on the planet. If they can't keep their shit straight, how can, with all respect, something?
Hopefully, we're going to partner with government, which is the Treasury Department, and hopefully we'll get everything right, which is equity for everybody.
So what do they get out?
New industry.
What do they get out of that partnership?
Obviously they're going to get a 20% VAT, whatever it is. Every gram of weed is going to be taxable in the country, and it's going to provide a safe place and new community places so we can give back millions of pounds off this industry, what's totally unregulated, totally untaxed, and totally down to whoever else wants to get involved.
What's still very scary to me is what is preventing a lot of people from, say, signing up to CanCard. For all they've had somewhere in the region of 17,000 to 20,000, depending on which mainstream establishment you are looking at. There's what they're reporting rather. A lot of people are hesitant because they don't want to give over photo ID. They don't want to give an address. They don't want to give enough of their details that if then something changed, it's what somebody with a piece of paper, several pieces of paper with 20,000 names on could just go, these guys are breaking the law, go and arrest them. So what I'm still worried of is then what would then stop, say, the police force, somebody then coming to you, arresting you and going, we want all these details. And if you don't give us these membership details, you're going to go down for a long time, you know?
Hopefully, because we're partnering with everybody now in this early stages, there'll be no paranoia, and you know, because it's like coming out the green closet type of thing, and no one will be victimized or stigmatized. So in this new age we're coming into, I mean, I won't be ashamed of my cannabis use. I haven't been for 20 years. I've been singing this song. So in this new age, I mean, we'll have school teachers and probation officers and prison officers and all the people who are smoking it now will be able to come to this safe place and say, well, you won't be stigmatized against them. You won't be hunted down and put in the court system.
Without legal protection, I can't see how that's true, because then if somebody joined your club and then a neighbour of them joined the club and they happen to have 3 small children and they reported to the police and social services, what's to stop that intervention? If that police probation officer, for example, then failed a piss test, he's then going to get fired automatically because it's in the rules of the letter of the law. So that there is
the whole world.
There is still hundreds of laws that are still going to persecute, but until there is an overriding bill, until there is an overriding movement to do something about this, I can't. I love your vision, Gary.
I think we're at the tipping point, Simpa. We're at the tipping point right now, and good will prevail over evil every day of the week, and we are good, and you are good, Mache, okay, and all my other friends are good, okay, and bringing all our goodness together, all right, we'll get the key to the door, and we'll show people how to bring the peace and bring that harmony, abundance of it, okay, we'll show you the best bands, okay, and hopefully you'll be around my table, okay, and everything will be just like a light bulb going off in people's future.
Would be great.
For anyone that's listened to this for a long time or followed my work for the past several years may think I'm a pessimist. I am actually an optimist. The problem is I am well informed, and that's what does my head in. So although I revel in the joy and the glow of your vision and your enthusiasm, I really do, Gary, and I want to see it come to fruition. I'm still have the sound of you several moments ago saying being in that conference in 2001 and hearing 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it being 20 years. I mean, I've been in this only maybe 5 years or so, and I've heard, within the next 18 months. And what usually happens is we get 18 months down the line and another part of it has been siphoned off, has been made profitable, patentable, palatable to the masses, and is being marketed. So here's now CBD, this wonder drug. Don't worry, it's not THC. It's not a dangerous skunk. It's not going to make you go mental, make you paranoid. And then they take that away. Then all of a sudden it's medical cannabis. And now we're going for industrial cannabis in hemp. And so they're just taking more and more parts away. And I worry that by the time it comes to legislation getting into Parliament for air quotes recreational or so-called adult consumption market for cannabis, that everything else is already going to be regulated. So we're going to get what's left rather than what we should have had at the beginning, which was legitimize the unregulated market, give the people who are already giving people access, give the people who are already saving lives, who are already running clubs, who are already establishing large growers, putting people to work, who are actually funding communities and helping people literally put food on their table for their kids and clothes on their back by providing ounces and shit for people to shot and sell so they had their own access, while then being able to, like I say, make a small bit of wage to help deal with whatever hardship that they're in.
You're on mute.
You're mute.
There you go.
Chillin rooms will be at the forefront of all this. Okay, all this for all your skepticism, and it'll be like your vision will be expanded as soon as you sit around that table and you see that we're all singing on the same song, and you can help write the manifesto with me. Okay, so my model can be replicated right throughout the world. We can go to New York, we can go to Australia with integrity, okay, with the best models and the best 20 years behind it. Supervision, okay, by my supervision and your technical data and your podcast and your voice as well, okay? We're all singing this song now, and that's all
I'd like to think
let's get to it.
I'd like to think I'm providing somewhat of a healthy skepticism. I have been
normally I'm the miserable bastard on this.
I'm not. I am excited. I am genuinely sat here excited, Gary, and every fiber of my being wants to and hopes for your success. But like I say, I greatly worry about the conglomerate of the ACI, the CMC, and the Conservative Drug Policy Reform Group. The connection of these three individuals, the policies they've been putting out, the papers that they've been putting out, and the restrictive market that they want to create is not what the vast majority of consumers in the UK want to see. It's not that freedom. It's not that ability to grow cannabis as they want, to trade it as they want, to consume it as they want. It's them being literally stared at through a microscope from every transaction. From the second they buy that seed, they are digitally followed until they cultivate it, where they've then got to say how much they grew and how much they used and whatever. We don't do that with alcohol. We don't do it with tobacco. We don't do it with fatty foods. Yet alcohol, tobacco, and sugar kill more people than every other thing on the planet combined. Cannabis should be regulated like that, just left out of it, and then we regulate commercial sales, you regulate when you produce certain products, because that's the safest way to produce the best efficacy. But in terms of then the freedom to do with it what we want, that's the thing I'm going to be sat here, Gary, in 20 odd years, still fighting for.
I'll tell you, we've got a compliance officer in Guy Coxall. He's like the compliance officer of the Cannabis Trade Association, wasn't he? So he's had meetings with the Home Office this week. So, as I say, he's well informed on our plans. So we were going to cover every single angle and every single different scenario, what's going to come before you. And we're going to have the answers and literally just to work and model what everyone can copy and paste and just bring to their community and just generate good, okay? Give back. That's what Chillin Room's ethos is.
So would it work as a franchise, or would you like buy into a union? You know, like you wouldn't like chains.
I don't want people's money, okay? As long as your club gets set up, it's going to give back tens of thousands every week. So my interest is getting everyone's club, everyone's creation, everyone's brand, everyone's name. I want to work with everybody, okay? And just create these lovely spaces right throughout the UK and bring about the 5 million jobs. And okay, we all grow together, and that's where we're about now. So as soon as I open, I'm going to be taking 30 people off the dole. I'll be having 100 growers who are going to plug into the app. And if you want to plug into our app and create your space in your town or your city or your, wherever you want to be, it's there for you. Plug your name into it, and we've got everything in behind back scenes, which is your licenses, you're paying your growers, you're paying your tax, and okay, it's all at the end of your phone now. So just upload your brand, and so we'll grow together.
2 questions for you. One for me would be: will you require a COVID passport verification to get into the Chillin Rooms? And if you had a dream musician to book to play at the Chillin Rooms, who would it be?
Hopefully we're going to have Paul McCartney there. That's a definite. We've had lots of communication going his way.
Really?
Yeah, and the COVID thing is like, ask your friends to come, and if he hasn't had a cold for a week, I mean, he's not snotting and coughing and that, okay? Don't be infecting everybody. So, as I say, we all know right from wrong, don't we?
I might have to fight Macca just to get the name, you know what I mean?
But yeah. What does that mean in terms of legislation? So for the past year, Durham City Cannabis Club, for example, we have just not done any events because the optics and the law in terms of the COVID legislation has meant that even if the police left us alone for congregating, selling cannabis, smoking cannabis and having the event, we'd still be in violation of that and broken up because of the rules. So
yeah,
would you then obviously kind of be forced to follow government procedures if they were to then enforce passports?
I don't know about that. I mean, I know we haven't been able to congregate anybody. Like, everyone's been under COVID restrictions, haven't they? So you can't even go out your house. So we all need these nice spaces to go to after the COVID. So we're going to comply with all the regulations type of thing. And, we're not going to go out and cause any trouble. We're not about that. We're about bringing peace and harmony. So that's what we're about. And when we can, we will be up there and we'll be meeting you and bringing about good and, just being the change. Mm-hmm. Okay? The light at the end of the tunnel.
So have you had any conversations with any of the PCC candidates in your region?
Good question.
I've had a little film made with me and Arfon Jones, but the candidates come out last week, and I've been with a radio station today, a commercial radio station, the second interview, and they're going to be contacting these crime commissioners and these new mayoral, the new mayors. We're going to be, Chillin Rooms is going to be asking the question type of thing. So I made up this commercial radio station's been interviewing me, like, because to say I haven't had the voice for 20 years, and I'm getting one now. People are listening to the words, like, and looking at the model and taking it serious.
Yeah. Definitely have a look at the candidates for sure. If you can definitely talk to them, be brilliant.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to them in the next 4 weeks, and hopefully we're going to be asking the question, what's your policy like? Because you're going to be voted in for 4 years, and me and my friends are not going to vote for you unless you're organically thinking type of thing and you want change, because we're all fed up. Okay, Liverpool's like Afghanistan some days. There's people shot every other day. The drug war's got to come to an end. I mean, it's like prohibition in the 20s, isn't it? just the shooting and the Tommy gun and the Al Capone and the prohibition. It's just the same now times 1,000 with the drug war. So we can regulate it and do things right.
What worries me is that your model fits wonderfully in a truly deschedulized world. So where there are no crimes around cannabis other than mis-selling commercially, having tainted products, things like that, in the same way that there is no criminalization around bread. But if you sold somebody some poisoned bread, you'd be accountable for it as a company down to the line person if then you did something negligent or criminal, whether it's then dealt with as a civil matter or a criminal matter. That's the way I foresee the cannabis has to be dealt with. And in that time, there will be models, but then there'll also be people that can just grow as much as they want and do with it what they want. If they then sell it commercially,
I don't really think they can.
They will have to then pay tax. But this is what happens with alcohol. So right now, I can go and buy the ingredients for alcohol. I can even now, there's companies that will sell you the hops. You can grow your own hops in your back garden, grow all your raw ingredients, ferment it down into alcohol, and I can give it to all of my mates as much as I want. I can even then put them into nice little bottles and labels, give them to my friends, and my friends can then go, oh, Simpa, this is lovely alcohol. I want to give you 20 quid just because it's so nice. That's not a transaction. They are two separate legal things. That was what created the gift economy in Colorado and Washington for 18 to 20 months before commercial sales started. That's the same thing that's going to start in New Mexico next week. Whenever they're about to sign this legislation, same thing that goes into effect with New York. And so I worry that unless this model is entirely, almost two-tiered, so that there's those that have and those that are part of it and they're safe, and those that aren't and they're criminalized. And what worries me is that the 20% of the tax from those that have protection can then go to funding the police to actively go after the people that are not protected.
I think the community will police itself in the future. We're all Merseyside Police. Hopefully, I'm going to change the name to Peace Officers and put a little cannabis leaf on the emblem on the badge. So one day, they're going to join in with our community. We all know right from wrong, Simpa. We don't need a policeman. As I say, if you're doing something wrong or it's not ethically right or it's going to harm somebody else. We all know these things when we're 5 or 6 years of age. So, we're all got this moral compass right now, haven't we? We're all looking at ourselves in the mirror. We all want the right thing, and we all want a safe place for our children to grow up and our mums to go out of a night type of thing. So this is going to bring the peace. It's going to bring safety. It's going to get rid of the crime business. It's going to put crime out of business.
So we know, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but there was something in the region of 35 to 40% of people in a recent poll in the UK said they actively opposed any changing in the law of cannabis. And they did it for the reasons of they want to make sure that their mum can walk the streets at night. They want to make sure that the children are safe. So we want the same outcomes, but we're thinking about it in very different ways. They're thinking still of the UN's bullshit of we can make the world by 1989 cannabis free. We can make it opium free. We can have a drug-free world. The harder they've gone at drugs, the more drugs there are, because the more you criminalize something, the more expensive you make it. In a world where we have to live on economics because it's neoliberalistic capitalism wins the day and it's how much you've got determines how good you are, then that's going to be the incentive always. So people will still have the same outcomes and ideals of going, I want a secure house for my family. I want a decent income. I want to be a good member of my society. Some people have the outcome of that of going, well, I'm going to be a vicious drug dealer and I can self-justify it through my own experience. And in my own narrative, I am the hero and protagonist of my story. So therefore I'm doing right. To the same person who then dedicates 50 years to the police force and raids and destroys low-level drug users' lives every day. They're both thinking they're doing the right thing. And so that's on just a prohibitionist versus non-prohibitionist. Within people who are not prohibitionist anymore, there is so much more nuance. So although we may be singing from the same, I would say, hymn book, I don't think we're quite on the same page yet. Do you know what I mean? We have the same, maybe the same ideal of outcome in terms of that the people are free, but they want them to be free from criminalization as it stands today, but very much be shackled in place so that they are active, non-passive consumers that will continue to enrich them for decades to come. Sorry, that was quite a tirade.
It was, but it was well said. It was well said. I'm sure your concerns are shared across the board, definitely. Do you know what? I fucking hope in fucking 6 weeks, mate, that myself and Simpa are completely fucking wrong, and you just fucking go for it, lad. Do you know that kind of way? But
Well, I think it's non-essential. May 12th, isn't it? Non-essential shops can open, something like that.
Hopefully, when the restrictions are over, Chillin will be opening its doors to the Green Avalanche, and you can help me write the manifesto, Simpa. Okay, you can bring equity for everybody. Okay, and all these little answers, we can help me cross the T's and dot the I's. Okay, because we've got all the answers. Okay, because it's tried and tested over many years.
Yeah, well, then we need to build that board and get this right. Because if we meet this deadline, I mean, you're talking what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 12 weeks until, if we're correct and Boris is right, full social restriction ends. That means no social distancing, no masks. I know you.
I don't believe it. I don't fucking believe it. Don't believe a fucking word.
I'm trying to be.
I'm coming to Chillin rooms in peace. Okay, watching all the live bands and just experience the place, like, because it's unique. It's 1 in a million. You've never been anywhere like it.
Well, you'll have your pick of musicians in the UK, because since Brexit, they haven't created a touring passport for them to get anywhere else. So I can imagine there'll be a lot of.
Hopefully, it's going to be all the local people for the first few months, because we're still technically locked down, aren't we? So I'm going to invite all the locals, and as I say, we'll get all the growers up and running.
That's what I'm saying. From June 21st. The restrictions are gone, so people could drive from all over the country to come visit.
Hopefully then they can get the seeds of what we've created and plant them in their little communities and just grow from there.
Yeah, but then the issue we have is something that we haven't brought up yet, which is a term that was, I can't remember who coined it, but postcode lottery. Postcode lottery was the term that was coined around enforcement of cannabis in the various 43 constabularies. Obviously, you then have independent police service in Scotland and in Northern Ireland. So ultimately 45, plus then actually within that, you have there are more other policing agencies and authorities, which all have slightly different views on how they enforce and to the severity and level they enforce cannabis rules and legislation.
Yeah.
So even if it works in Liverpool and you manage to gain that discretion of, say, the mayor and the police chief constable and the crime commissioner, how are others going to be able to win that within their region if there is no legal protection?
Well, I think you need to ask these questions now when all these votes are going off, because everyone's voting the crime commissioners and the new mayors and their cities or towns, aren't they? Everybody's getting these votes now, so everyone needs to ask the questions. What's your policy? Because we're voting you in, we the people type of thing. Or we the people. I've got a new slogan if you'd like to hear it.
Go on.
Go on.
Build up better.
I see what you did there.
Grow better weed.
I guess to sort of add to that as well, if Merseyside is a test bed, it's a pretty fucking good one. Do you know what I mean? If it can be one in Merseyside, it can be one anywhere.
Okay.
Exactly my point.
Drug war, Liverpool is the epicenter of the drug war in the UK. Okay, it's been corrupted by so many people for so many years, but this little 1 or 2%, I think they've gone now, okay, and we're going to bring about good. Chillin Rooms is going to shape the agenda and bring about the peace and just create good every single day. It's going to get better. And, okay, we can copy and paste my little 20 years work to all over the world. Okay, everyone wants a Chillin Rooms, and okay, you can create your space and okay, put your Chillin Rooms, whatever the name it is, and put it next to me even if you want, like, I mean. I'm looking forward to the competition, but you better roll your sleeves up and make sure it's good, like, because, as I say, with ours is unique.
Sorry, I was just Googling, looking for an article that I read the other day, and I can't seem to find it, but I think it was related to the Sadiq Khan announcement of decriminalisation trial potential in London. And they suggested, it was from one of the bodies that recommends to the Met Police or to the police forces in general, the Police Federation, I believe it was, suggested that they trial in 5 of the highest prosecuting areas. I don't know if Merseyside was in it. I know South Yorkshire was in it. I know London was in it, and there was 3 others, I believe.
Yeah,
And
I watched a podcast with someone from the Police Federation the other day on Carly's. There's a gentleman called Simon Q, and he's the top police federation, which is accepting the canna cards. And as I say, there's 5 police forces what are de facto decriminalised and not arresting people simply. So I think this is going to get rolled out.
Well, they've got it's the de facto decriminalisation, but it's because it's a checkpoint scheme, which, as I've said, technically isn't full decriminalisation, because you will still have a marker put on your record that can still be visible for, I think it's 11 years. So there is still a form of decriminalisation. What they're doing is they're just diverting us from going through a legal system and costing them extra money, really. I think Gary's froze.
Is he froze again?
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Hear that? Hey. Oh, I love technology. I can't wait for all this crap to be over so we can just build a studio somewhere and start inviting people up.
Collect some free pallets.
All the pallets. You can build a pallet palace. Welcome to my podcast, Pallet Palace.
We'll bring the pallet rooms. That's what we'll do.
I think we've lost your audio again, Gary.
I think he's frozen again too.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Hey.
He's back.
I can hear you.
Cool.
Yeah, I could just hear. I went off for a sec. I don't know what happened. Like, I think it was down to you, that Macher.
Always is, mate. Always is.
We've covered quite a lot of diverse subject matter sort of in this. So, do you think, or would you work towards, whatever you did with the terms of the police and politicians? You were saying about competition, and you were quite interested and eager to take on healthy competition. So would you actively help create legislation that created a fair, level playing field for everybody?
I want it for everybody, this industry. Okay, I want everybody to be involved. I don't want it for me. Okay, I want everybody from 18 to 88. If you want to contribute to this new growing economy.
What if you're 89? What all the 89-year-olds? We do have some quite.
Okay.
We probably have a couple of visionarians.
Okay. We'll change that to 108 then. From 18 to 108.
Somebody 109-year-old is like, oh my fucking god.
Yes, 108. Okay, and you're all welcome, everybody.
It's
from 18 to 108.
If you're 108 and a half, fuck off.
Yeah, make your own club.
Yeah.
No, but that's the wonderful thing, is the world I envision, where cannabis becomes the centerpiece of an actual wellness industry rather than the perpetuation of an illness industry.
Me too.
We could live a fucking hell of a lot longer. We start addressing diets, lifestyle choices, etc. Oof, we could get somewhere. We could really extend our lives, and not only the amount of time, but the quality of it. Instead, I know people that are already at my age. I'm only just entering my early 30s. They're already screwed from health choices and things that they made in their late teens and early 20s. And I think that like I say, cannabis, the introduction, especially of entheogenic substances to deal with individualized trauma and sort of social programming and indoctrination, can really help to give people that second chance at life. Do you know what I mean? And I hope that the future that you're working and striving towards, Gary, will come to fruition. I really, truly do. And I don't doubt that you will give every bit of energy and effort that you have got to see it come to life, to do it. And I actually don't doubt that regardless, you're probably going to do it. So even if you don't get the support and the backing of this, somewhere or another, the chill rooms will always be a safe space for those in the know.
Yeah, always.
I suppose we'll have to do
the agenda.
You'll have to have us down to do a live session down there when it's all.
I'll be honest to have you there.
When I don't get arrested and thrown in the back of a paddy wagon.
Yeah, well, the war will be over. When you come to that place, it'll be equity for a level playing field, and let's start again and be the change and all the things what we've all been waiting for. It's right there, right now.
Well, I hope so. I mean, we're seeing, to go for a slight tangent, but it's relevant to the narrative, and it's an angle that I wanted to cover because I can hear a couple of my listeners going, ooh, and trying to bring up this point. what we're seeing with the Spy Cops bill, what we're seeing with the Policing Powers Act, what we're seeing with the quite draconian and aggressive legislations that are written in the COVID Act of what the police can do, the force that they can use. I sat and watched 2 live streams the other night from the Tuesday night of the Bristol, Monday into Tuesday, of the Bristol protests, and watched the aggressive militaristic tactics of the police charging at protesters with horses, streaming at them with lines of dogs, you know what I mean, hitting unarmed people that were sitting on the floor with shields. And so I worry about anything that we do to parlay too much with the current incarnation of policing in this country. It's become quite authoritarian, quite fascistic, and incredibly aggressive, quite the antithesis, the opposite, in fact, of what Sir Robert Peel had in mind when he created the bobbies, when he created the neighborhood bobby, was the idea that the police were going to be unarmed, they were going to be friendly and approachable, and they were going to be aligned to defend us from the militaristic instinct of governments.
Yep.
So this is one of the things of the issues I kind of have with CanCard and other systems that go, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the police and go, look, these people that have a special pass are allowed to stay safe. If they don't have the special pass, they're screwed. That to me harks back to the war and, papers, please. We've been through this thing. We talk about with the immigration and with everything around that it's a dicey thing. Do you know what I mean?
It certainly is, especially now with this short-term COVID passport stuff. It's like, because it's not going to be fucking problematic, is it? Sarcasm implied.
As soon as they're up within 4 hours, 6 hours, there will be prints and a whole...
There'll be about 17 of them up on eBay within 20 seconds, guaranteed. Buy it now, 108 quid.
And so this is what we saw. So immediately, as soon as you remember the first images of people showing the card, which said that I'd been vaccinated, within the same day, people were selling those through Etsy's, through Wish stores, through all kinds of crap. People were getting these out there. And it just shows that too much regulation, or regulation that is trying to put a gate on a field, do you know what I mean, but not build a fence, is going to do fuck all. And that's kind of what I worry with then the Chill Room app, Gary, is that if then people can't prove that they've got the app, for example, if they then don't have the app to show membership,
I think there's lots of police officers who've got PTSD, right, who've been through all these raids, and they'll need to come and chill out with us, right? So I think because it will be a regulated space, I think police officers will be welcome in there anyway, and firemen and nurses and school teachers and all these people who've been, couldn't actually admit to the cannabis use. Yeah. This will be like a level playing field. So hopefully we'll be therapeutic for all the police officers.
I look forward to that day. I do. And then maybe you can return to the whole Bobbyhood. Do you know what I mean?
Well, obviously we can convert them to be peace officers, so they've got a bit of respect in the community.
But if they're still forced to then go, okay, I can come and sit in the chill rooms and I can sit and have a smoke or whatever else, it's still illegal for a police officer to consume an illegal drug, even if they're in that safe space.
Currently,
they will still fail their piss. They will still fail their piss test. So even if they manage
it's not actually an illegal drug now, is it? It's a therapeutic medicine that is prescribed in clinics.
No. Cannabis under the 1971 Misuse of Drugs Act in the UK is still a Schedule 1 drug that has no accepted medical value with a high propensity for addiction and abuse. In the 2001 Misuse of Drugs Act, Schedule 2 cannabis is Schedule 2 medical cannabis is defined as a cannabis-based medicinal product designed for human consumption. To get a Schedule 2 2001 cannabis, you have to get that through prescription. All of these people with CanCard are smoking or consuming or getting access to Schedule 1 1971 cannabis. They've deliberately created a misnomer and two different things so that they can raid and target and destroy. I have 15 different Google alerts set up for my inbox. I've got various email addresses that just take in news, right? I'm literally reading about this company making $1 billion here, and then a raid here, man in court for 5 joints, raid here. They are still destroying us while then still posting these stories of medical. So they're pushing people onto this 2001 Misuse of Drugs Act interpretation of air quotes medical cannabis. And again, that can't be smoked. You can't get therapeutic benefits, according to the government, from smoked cannabis. You can only get that from vaporized or consumed cannabis.
Yeah, Well, I think what just happened in New York like 3 or 4 days ago, where everybody, like social equity, people can grow 6 plants. It just happened in Malta, hasn't it? People can grow 4 plants. So, I mean, progression and evolution, it's going to be here any day. Might be tomorrow or the next day, but it's going to be here now. I believe Boris is going to make a bold decision and, say, let's look what's about. Let's see what's been going on in the country. Let's see who's got a little working model. And Chillin rooms will be right at the door waiting to shake his hand and bring about the peace. No, I really believe Boris is the man.
I can't see Boris lasting more than us getting up to episode 30. At this point, I know that's my prediction, guys, for this one. I cannot see him lasting much longer. His own party are turning on him. His own media are turning on him. His own advisors are turning on him. Do you know what I mean?
No accountability.
They're done with him. They're grooming Keir Starmer. They've set him up. Murdoch's ready to make his switch again. So they're going to get rid of the Labour. Now that Jeremy Corbyn stood out at one of those Kill the Bill marches, he's a terrorist again.
Oh, is he?
So again, they can perpetuate that narrative. They can build that up. They then switch to Labour. Labour then goes, okay, we're not going to decriminalise, but what we're going to do is create medical clubs.
Of course,
we can have medical institutions. And so if the Children's is allowed to exist because of the government's permission, it will be because you're a medical cannabis
centrist club. Fucking vomit is what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's dilutionist, and it's not going to actually, in my opinion,
see what you did there.
End the war.
Dilutionist.
It really is. If we've got you singing me song and Macha yours, we all play our own little unique instruments in this orchestra. We all know the song. It's freedom, isn't it? As I was saying, if you can play that little instrument,
you'll never walk alone, Gary, isn't it?
Okay, just beat our drums for a little bit, right? And as I say, everyone will listen to our little beat type of thing, and we'll all like harmonise together. And before you know, we'll have a lovely little utopian future where people can grow and people can bake cakes, and we'll have the coolest people coming together out the houses where we've been.
But so what we look at again. The first rules that went through is also right. Let's go back to New Mexico in the 70s. A cancer patient by the name of Lynn Pearson was the first guy in the country who was dying of cancer. Rallied the government, the state government. They managed to create a compassionate consumption act around cannabis, and the federal government quashed it, wouldn't allow him, wouldn't gain him access. That was the 70s. It then took until 1996 before then California went forward and created a prescribable model. That model was then abused infinitum by everybody with headaches, back pains, and whatever else that wanted legal and legitimate protection. It then transformed and pushed medical until it then created the medical cannabis industrial complex that is powered by big pharma. That now, as they move away from opioids onto synthetic and bio-created cannabinoids, what we've then seen with then legalization is basically it started in 2012. It's then going to be the 2030s at that trajectory, 2040s, before we get that true end of war. So we're seeing it now with what happened in New York has gone and been the 15th state to create adult consumption or so-called recreational marketplace. And in doing so, they've actually gone as far as 50% social equity for licensing. Whereas then New Mexico are looking to go next. They'll be 16th, and they're saying no limitation for social equity licensing. They want to expunge all records and give those people first preference to create industry. So it gets better through each inclination. And if we currently jump on that bandwagon, on that trajectory of progression, it's still going to take us a goddamn long time until we can have farmers markets, until we can do the kind of events that Durham has done and not be criminalized.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's obviously, I think, to think of it as a sort of a switch at this point is probably a bit naive on our part. It's going to have to be fucking.
But it was a switch. Look at what New York.
I know it was a switch. I'm just saying.
New York's legislation, literally, as soon as Cuomo finished the last letter on his name, it was legal.
Yeah.
Literally, you could soon do. Not only that, a memo went out to the entirety of the New York Police Department saying you cannot arrest. There's then been another thing put forward that says if you're allowed to smoke a cigarette there, you can smoke weed there. That has then been made to the point where you could then sue the police if they arrest you for that.
Yeah, so I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, like you can't negate the national stepped progression. that the United States has had to go through since.
But we've already gone through it through the weaponization of it in different ways.
We have,
so rather than the creation of domestic marketplaces, we're trying to create domestic customers for international companies.
Yeah, exactly. The intent is not in our favor in this country, quite clearly. Do you know that kind of way? But they're gonna feed it to us in steps, and at the moment, until I see anything sort of actually definitive in terms of not being pushed back and delayed. Do you know that kind of way? Which is their obvious go-to fucking weapon.
Wait, so there's two things going on right now. You've got a conglomerate and a union or coalition of organizations and individuals on one side that are trying to corporatize and create a Canada 2.0 legalization system in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
You've then got a grassroots that are reaching out into political and all kinds of spheres to create support for a challenge against the government to get a ruling to deschedule cannabis. So what happens is that actually descheduling cannabis gives the corporate entities the kingdom. So until there are these kind of models for social consumption, for social regulation, for taxation, for limitation and expungement of records and everything else that needs to be put in place of this, we're going to give the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
But both sides are fighting toward the same kind of thing. The difference is that if we get that descheduling, everything goes with the signing of that pen. Once that decree is made, once that verdict, that precedent is set, everybody is free. They would then have to set in place the same as Mexico and other countries have done, and the American states are doing, expungement of people's records. They're going to have to then start to retrospectively make right what they have been proven legally to have done wrong.
Yeah.
I think that pressure then needs to come. So one thing I was curious on is, would that be part of, say, Chillroom's 65% for social equity? Would it fund challenges against the government to truly deschedule and end the war on cannabis so that everybody was free, so that nobody went to prison and everybody was liberated?
That's what it's going to do as soon as we open the door, isn't it? I mean, I can't open the door and sleep at night knowing that there's tens of thousands of people languishing in jail for doing what our community interest things do and type of thing. So we'll be campaigning to get these people out of jail right now and give these people compensation. And, if you pay the fine type of thing, you can pay it back maybe times 3. And if you spent a bit of time in jail, you can give people compensation, can't you? And if you've took someone's house off them for the proceeds of crime when someone has a little 6 plants, I mean, that house deserves to go back to them, doesn't it? So all these little regulations we're going to iron out with the professionals in the next few months, i.e. the Conservative drug policy, Labour drug policy, all the people who believe in what we're saying.
I would definitely reach out to the Green Party and other sort of, especially just more anything that's just left of centre. I've been meeting the mayoral candidate, a gentleman called Tom Crony. He's the leader of the Green Party in Liverpool. So hopefully we're going to meet him in the next few weeks and hopefully get behind his campaign and get him a Green mayor in Liverpool, and let's be organic and
potentially a Green PCCC.
Yeah, and a Green Police and Crime Commissioner.
Because the Green Party are the only ones that I've seen thus far that have actually got it in their national policy. And for all their national white papers are worth as much as other white papers we wipe our arse with, it's still more than the individual word of any one politician whose word is to be as trusted as much as a parakeet.
Yeah, well, I've got integrity. I've got, I've got a whole army of organic free thinkers behind me. And we all know right from wrong. And this is the right thing to do at moments in time.
I don't doubt that, Gary. But one thing I would suggest to you is that you really ideally need to have this model in place before you go to either the Labour drug policy or Conservative drug policy or any of these organisations, because they very much already have a model in mind. They very much already have their ideal, and they will sweet talk you and walk you down a path that you won't want to. And I genuinely worry that with all the best intention and gusto that they will continue to fill you up and go, keep going, Gary, while they then create that legislation and that model to then present it in Parliament that then just basically cuts you straight out of that?
If you can make the model around chilling rooms, that's the equitable for everybody. So, as I say, we're working with all these professionals now.
It's only not to quarrel on sort of the nuance of language or anything, but I would say that it's only truly equitable for everybody when everybody's given the opportunity. And if people have to then sign on to a service and have to be part of something to have that freedom, then I'll always support you. You know, I'll always support in everything you do. And like I say, even if I then do take you up and have a seat within the board, I would still then actively fight for the true liberation of everybody else, for them to have that freedom.
And I'll be fighting with you, Simpa. I'll be right at your side, okay? Because that's what I'm about, okay? And we'll get there. We really will.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So I suppose then is another quite controversial subject. I suppose it's not your forte, as you've spent the past 20 years around sort of cannabis and cannabis culture, but you have lived in Liverpool, and you're obviously aware of the drug culture, and as you said, that it is quite frankly one of the epicenters of drug networks in the UK. So how then would you feel, or what do you think of the ideas of could social clubs or pubs exist for other drugs?
I think it'll totally get rid of all the other drugs. People will be, as I say, children rooms didn't have enough seats for everybody.
But what can I ask why you think it would get rid of the other drugs? Because I mean, global drug survey suggests that somewhere between 85 and 90% of all people that use drugs don't do so non-problematically. They don't have a dependency. They don't have a destructive relationship with the substance. They simply enjoy it. So if then people enjoy those substances, should they not then be entitled to have the same legal protection as cannabis consumers, be entitled to have the same social spaces?
In our social space, or this new creative space we're creating, we'll have all moral judgments and all questions answered and all rights and wrongs ticked and all ready to go.
So would you potentially be interested if somebody was to say, approach you and go, all right, Gary, you've got the model for distribution and for this app and membership for cannabis. Would you be interested in helping to create a trippy rooms, for example, that was served to psychedelic mushrooms?
I'd put it out to the community. Okay, it'll all be voted for on an app. Okay, if there was a time and a space where people wanted to do that, of course, if it was organic and people wanted to do that in the community. I mean, maybe it wouldn't happen on a Friday night when the music was on, but like maybe if people wanted to go camping or something in a little private place and light a little campfire and get back to nature and have them few mushrooms. I mean, I'm not going to discriminate against anybody.
But so then I, for example, used to suffer quite heavily with social anxiety. So when I would go out, I would only maybe drink one or two to be seen holding a drink, because otherwise they look at you funny. But I would take, say, either MDMA, or I would microdose some mushrooms, or even take a small amount of LSD. And so what I guess I'm asking is then how, because of your passion for cannabis and your vision for this, I'm just curious as to how you then feel of that for, say, cocaine, for, say, heroin, you know, like...
Chillin Room separated the drug market, Simpa. It got rid of the alcohol. There was nobody snorting coke in the toilets. I mean, there wasn't nobody on MDMA because it was strictly organic in there, and it was like stipulated on entrance, i.e., I don't care what you're doing after you leave here, but don't even bring Class A drugs in your pocket in here, because this place is like that watch type of thing that I don't want the police to raid you and find all cocaine in your pocket because it looks bad on me. So please respect my rules. My rules are no Class A drugs even in your pocket. Okay, don't come here if you've had alcohol type of thing, and just bring good and bring happy people who want to share our vibrant community.
But so I'm trying to get your thoughts on if then, say, trippy rooms opened and they were able to serve ayahuasca, they were able to serve LSD, they were able to, you know, have DMT vapes or whatever people could just imbibe and engage. Do you think that they would have as much of could have as much of, say, a positive impact or reducing the negative impact of the drug war in Liverpool?
I think there's a time and a space for everything, okay? And if it's organic and it's like-minded people and it's everybody agrees what's going to happen or what's going to be taken, I mean, it's nobody's business, is it, what happens in private place? So if it's everybody's over 18 and nobody's saying no, 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 I mean, we all know what's right and wrong. And if somebody's going to come to harm, I mean, I don't want to be any part of it type of thing, but I know if you can have a bottle of vodka and die, okay, so I wouldn't accept that, like somebody drinking a bottle of vodka in my, because I don't want to be in their presence. So, if you can guarantee that something's going to be safe and you're going to go home to your family the next day, which I can in my club, which is tonight tried and tested, so I can guarantee that. You come to chilling rooms and, okay, smoke a bong or eat a cake or something. You might have a white teeth. The worst thing, we'll look after you. We'll put you in a taxi on the way home type of thing, or we'll get one of our community to drop you off. But we guarantee you that nothing's going to happen to you in there. Like, you're going to be safe.
Yeah. So would then it be fair to say that you would support similar models for other things to exist? Not to say that you would build them, organize them, or be involved in them, but would you welcome them in the community if they were to arise? Because ultimately they would act the same way that pubs do, which is harm reduction centers. They go, this drug exists, people want to enjoy it. So what we do is we create a fair price for it that then allows us to take tax off it to pay for the 21 billion a year that it costs policing it and on the NHS. I mean, we accept that. We now know that alcohol causes 5%. 1 in 20 of all deaths in the world are caused by comorbid deaths caused by alcohol consumption. So we accept that, we understand that. So then if we were to then look at that for other substances across the board, obviously I still agree at this point you kind of have to keep them separate by the nature of the communities, but then eventually they would have to evolve into general safe spaces.
As long as it's people over 18 and they're doing a thing in a responsible manner and there's going to be no loss, harm or injury to anybody. I mean, if you're taking something what's organic and, okay, therapeutic, whatever you want, like if it's from the ground, I mean, I'm all for it. Like,
so would you look to then create or have an adaptive mindset and model towards, if you then created your private members, would you then look to create a dispensary or a coffee shop when that became available? Oh. I think Gary might be putting on the light for those listening at home.
It's unusual that we lost the camera and
the audio, but he's still here.
Muted, yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting.
I'm not sure what's happening there.
Yeah, I suppose we give him a minute. Give him a minute, see if he comes back.
I really enjoy Gary's vision, and I appreciate his enthusiasm for it, and I would absolutely love to see it come to fruition. I have seen too many campaigners, individuals and organizations that are then corrupted through niceness. Do you know what I mean? People that will say all the right things and promise all the right things until they get into the quiet rooms where they get to make the deals and write the nuance of the legislation.
I mean, it's rife. I mean, any feasible any model that has the potential that cannabis does from a financial point of view is rife for manipulators and opportunists. Do you know what I mean? I haven't said any of that correctly because I'm tired, but yeah, I think that it carries my point across. Yeah, and I understand your fears for Gary as well, to be sort of led down the fucking, is it the merry path or whatever the fucking, Jesus Christ,
path, I think they call
led
it.
down the garden path. What the fuck?
Never understood that expression.
Anyway, but yeah, you see the point that I'm trying to make is like, I absolutely want. Oh, is he back?
I don't know.
I'm back.
He's back.
Hey.
Nice one, lad.
Sorry.
You're all right. It's no hassle.
It's all good.
Sorry, me video, me battery went. Sorry.
No worries, man. No worries.
It's all good.
I'm back.
See you a bit better now as well. That's good.
Yeah, I put the lights on. Yeah, it was going dark.
Excellent.
Been made up speaking to you, you know. We're coming together, okay, for good.
Yeah, indeed. I do truly hope so, Gary. And as I have expressed to you in private and obviously in public, that I do truly support your vision. I don't doubt that you have the best intentions of the people of your local community in mind, and that you do want to see this rolled out across the country to allow everybody the same opportunity to start their businesses, to legitimize their brands, to come in from the dark and the cold and get warmed by the fire of this new world. But yes, again, I've not meant to be so pessimistic or so sort of challenging. But the devil is in the details, as they say, and it is within the nuance of the rules and the legislation that they will either give us some freedom, which if you look at our history, we have never been given freedom. We have struggled for it. We have fought for it. We have protested for it. And yeah, I worry that at a point where I'm still seeing every day huge raids going off in all corners of the country, that they're then saying in private that, oh no, we're going to be doing this and we're going to do that. And it just feels a bit like, I don't know if crocodile promises are the same as crocodile tears, but it should be.
Fucking should be.
The conference I went to in 2002 was called Shaping New Agenda. Okay, so we're all shaping this new agenda, common good, and okay, grassroots, and everywhere we've been discussing, and it's been everything for everybody, and we're the keys to the door for the whole industry, like, and we can set a good example. Okay, we've got good morals and integrity, and we're literally we've got the best people.
So it kind of made sense in so in 2002, as you were saying, there were shaping a new agenda, and as part of that, in 2004, cannabis was reduced from a Class C drug to a Class B.
From a B to a C.
Yeah, but then in early 2006, we saw it go the other way and go back up to a B. Yeah. And that's again what I worry that we're on now. We're on a point where the global tide is shifting, but the British are stubborn. We were one of the last holdouts to sign the goddamn 1961 convention in the first place that made all of this shit happen. So I'm just,
the whole country's been locked down, hasn't it, for over a year type of thing, and everyone's like got time to know, have a really good think and realise what's right and wrong. And as I say, the country's never been in such a bad situation. What now? And this is the answer to everybody's problems. Okay, we can get millions of jobs and create good for the world. Okay, and bring our communities about, and so we're all looking about for one another, and elect these people who are going to be the voices for us in the next 4 weeks. As I say, and we're all coming together, getting these words out. And okay, people are listening to my words and they're listening to your words, Simpa, and you as well, Mac. And we're all got our own little unique bit to say, haven't we? And as I say, we're all coming together and we all want the same thing. And that's it. Now we're right here, right now. So
then I guess one of the things that I think would be wonderful to see is with this diverse board and these people that you're seeking to create, the diverse group of people that you're seeking to create into a board, if it was possible to then get us all together for a conference physically in situ somewhere, so that we can truly hash out the intentions, ideals of what it is that you're truly looking for. Because ultimately, if the Children's is to succeed, it should be because it is your model, but that model has to, as you say, represent your ideals, which are social equity in the best interest of the majority, not the minority. And I think that has to then come with certain, or rather the help of the establishment has to come with certain caveats that, they may profit through tax, etc., but the actual ownership of any entities and the running of them should be left down to the people. They should be the ones to enrich themselves and their communities. Their hard work should pay off, and a chunk of it should go back to recompense and rebuild those communities that have been most affected and damaged.
Yes, and we can do it with this unique little plant. Okay, it brings good every day. As I say, I've been smoking it for 30 years, and as I say, I'm the first out of my street and the last home. Okay, I'm prepared to roll my sleeves up and put 16-hour days in. to bring this to fruition, okay? And I'm like going to go off social media as soon as we open type of thing and be in the real world and invite you all to it. And when you go and come and visit our establishment, you'll go to your little jurisdiction and think, wow, I've got this opportunity right now to build my chilling room or my Simpa's Palace or your Macca's Garden. It can be anything you want it to be, all right? But we'll have the green prints what you can just copy and paste.
I'll take a garden over a palace any fucking day.
Pallet pot palace.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep illiterating this until it's like 17p's.
That's how much it costs.
Would you do me a favour, Mac, and make a note of the time on the scale of about 3 minutes ago and put up an epilepsy warning?
Yeah, right.
No, but seriously, please do. We have to be inclusive here of everybody, and we don't know. And obviously, there is a higher propensity of people that have epilepsy that use cannabis to help deal with their seizures.
Yes,
so I wouldn't want
yeah.
one of them to be watching our show and then have a fucking seizure. So
for context, Gary, your camera is having a rave at the moment. It's just keeps
I've seen it. I've seen it, yeah.
I think it's the lens as it catches you moving back and forward. I used to have the same issue when I used to sit there doing my lives.
I'll stay still then, okay? I'll stay. Yeah.
We won't keep you too much longer. We've covered so much.
Okay.
Quite a lot of that I really wanted to cover. We've covered a lot of diverse subject matter, but also been quite down into the nitty gritty of things with this. I've obviously not meant to, but I think I've been quite critical. But I think it's led to good conversations and it's allowed the listeners to try and understand the idea a bit more. And I hope that it has genuinely created excitement amongst the listenership for the potential idea of a future that we could get if everybody throws, as you said, rolls their sleeves up and puts in that hard work. I think that truly, as I've said many times before, many hands make light work. And so the more people we can have at this, the better. But if not everyone's shoveling out of the hole and some are shoveling back in, you can see why we haven't been getting anywhere. So I think it's time for that overview. It's time for us all to stop, look, assess what people are actually doing, what their intentions are. And if they are of humble nature, if they are of genuine intent, then you invite them into, I suppose, to steal another phrase from the Tories, into that big tent. And you
build up better.
Yeah, you build up better. You exactly that. You reinvigorate the economies of this country. We're sitting on the precipice of possibly the worst recession in our history. We can't begin to fathom the damage that the past 12 to 18 months is going to. No, it's only 12 months at this point, but it's going to be 18 months by the time we get out of it. Fingers crossed, Maggie, if we do. The damage that's going to have caused. If you look at the hospitality sector, if you look at travel, if you look at a lot of these other diverse industries and sectors, they have been decimated by their absence. Industries like Disney abroad have lost tens of millions a day. They have just not been able to plug the holes in their resources. So it's going to be interesting to then see how governments respond to this, whether they're actually having that conversation of going, well, fuck me, Colorado has made over $2 billion in tax since they started this. We should really start looking at this. What have they done with it? They're giving free education to certain regions. They're then paving roads. They're then providing a higher standard of education. They're providing better quality healthcare. They're really, it's as Trev Coleman says, cannabis is a capitalist resource with a socialist agenda. That the more money they make on this goddamn thing, the better it does for the world. So I again applaud your vision and hope that it comes to fruition, that these clubs are everywhere, because the more weed that is sold through something that is regulated like that, the more money has the potential to directly go back to that local community, rather than it going to some giant corporation who's growing weed en masse somewhere, shipping it in via prescription, and they're not paying any tax here. That money actually stays in the UK. It actually helps build that pot back up, rather than this trickle down bullshit. We get to cultivate our way out of poverty. That is my grandest vision, is that with this plant, we get not just a drug, not just a therapeutic, not just a relaxant, intoxicant, a euphoric substance. We get the opportunity to build cleaner homes. We get the opportunity to get off fossil fuels. We get the opportunity to build graphene supercapacitor batteries, quantum computing. We're on the precipice of the next generation of this. If we can just get beyond this stupid fucking argument of, you smoking something that smells funny and I don't like what it does to you. And I think I agree. We are so close to that. I just hope that everyone that's trying to push us over that line is trying to push us over that line and not back across it.
Yeah, we're here now. This is the line. We're over it. Okay, we're all going to be have our all hands up high soon. And okay, sitting around the highest table in the country, and we'll say we've got that boardroom ready, and we'll say it's going to be shape the agenda for everybody. Okay, and we will have the models and the integrity, and okay, all the answers in place for everybody. From 18 to 108. Okay, I'll see you all soon.
That's the one. I've truly got my fingers crossed for you, Gary. I've got just one more question for you, I guess.
Okay.
And that's say 6 months from now, Boris is still in office, as you alluded to, and he suddenly turns around and goes, you know what? Yeah, we're going to decriminalize cannabis in various regions and allow for trial projects of social clubs and various dispensaries or whatever else. And you get the ball rolling and things start moving. You're then 18 months from now, 2 years, you're open in most regions in the UK. There's a representative of these organizations. What are you planning on doing then? Are you laying down your shield and your sword? Are you stepping back off that front line?
I've got plans to go to Iran and China and Morocco and all these little obsolete countries what need to bring the peace bring us all together.
No one has ever called China tiny and obsolete.
No, they're not tiny. There's all trouble everywhere, isn't it? In Iran and China, okay? China's like the motherland, isn't it? It's where it was like where it's from. So it's
actually Tibet, and obviously this is quite controversial and probably gets kicked off some algorithm, but Tibet should be Tibet. Free Tibet, exactly. # free Tibet, and should not be China. So again, that could be a beautiful thing. So anything of the Himalayan regions, you look at Pakistan, Afghanistan, you look at anything along the equator, especially where you've got some nice mountain ridges, you have got land races, you have got traditions of cannabis consumption and culture. Even going back before Tibet, I mean, Tibet is sort of goes back from the fossilization records, but if you then look at the earliest cultural examples, is the I want to say Mesopotamians. Sumerians. Yeah. So, and that's like the oldest culture that we've got thus far. We're going to keep digging and finding more, and even then, we're still going to find more evidence of this. So this has been around for fucking ever. So I love the idea of re-empowering these regions, but we do have an issue. If you look at Jamaica's being picked dry by Canadian conglomerates, by huge corporations that are coming down going, we're going to help the population, wink, wink, while stealing their land races, flying them back to laboratories, synthesizing the compounds, and then making patented drugged products that they're then selling for a grossly inflated price, while doing fuck all to enrich the people of Jamaica, who frankly have done more than any other country over the past fucking 50 years to really stand true to cannabis's vision. You think of like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, you think of the musicians, the culture. Do you know what I mean? They have stood hard in the face of oppression, especially from the fucking British, to still have that cultural dominion over cannabis. So yeah, I applaud that, dude. That's what I want to fucking see.
I want to take chill rooms all over the world, okay, and lead Liverpool's hospitality and know-how and my supervision, and let's get it out there. Okay, bring the peace all over the world. Okay, we can give back in every community we're given. We are.
My grand vision that I've just had flash before my eyes is when I reach your fine age, Gary, is to be traveling the world and walk into an establishment in Iran to be meted by a Scouse accent.
Yes,
I want to see that multiculturalism, that interrelation of them, of just because you already do. Anytime I go to a cannabis establishment around the world, I bump into other Brits, because that's where they hub. Do you know what I mean? So it's wonderful to have that you have that global vision, that you have that that's what do you call it, supervision, that you
supervision. That's it. It's going to go all over the world and bring the peace and harmony.
May everybody have half as much fucking enthusiasm and hope for the future that you do, because honestly, if they did, this world would be a better fucking place. Even if you don't ever achieve your vision, brother, the fact that you have it and you perpetuate it, I think is enough to inspire. So thank you very much for giving us your time this evening.
Been an absolute pleasure,
Thank you very much.
Pleasure,
mate. Thank you, and we'll speak again soon in the Chillin rooms, and peace and love, everybody. And hopefully it's been beneficial to everybody. Let's all grow together.
Exactly. Build back better.
That's it.
Build up better.
Build up better. That's the one. I was close. But that's the
That's
Brexit
actually
slogan.
That's the Tories one.
Too many goddamn slogans and acronyms in this.
Remember that one?
One last thing, Gary. Where can people find out about the chill rooms? Are you on any social media
you'll have to be
platforms?
invited.
Ooh, there you go, folks. It's super secret.
It's definitely not on this Instagram thing down here.
No, you'll have to be invited.
Chillinrooms_Liverpool.
You'll have to get the invite off one of my friends. Yeah, it's that one. Yeah, that's the Instagram. But I don't think we'll need it. Social media. It'll just be real life. Everyone will be in the real world, and you'll just be connecting with it on your phone for 5 minutes, and then you'll be in the real world, and meeting like-minded people.
That's the grand vision, brother. So hopefully,
off social media and back into the real world. And
hey, people, don't leave social media too much. We're trying to make a living with this platform here.
You can come for 5 or 6 hours a week, can't you? And enjoy the get together and the community and the ambience we're creating.
It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be truly wonderful. So yeah, like I said, I hope to be sat hopefully having you recording another one of these podcasts face to face in the new style chill rooms very soon. Very soon. It's been a pleasure, Gary, and for the people that are still going to be remaining on social media, you can find us on all platforms at the Simpa Life. If you've enjoyed this video and this podcast, please check us out on patreon.com/Simpa Life, where for less than a cup of coffee a week, you can help us keep the lights on, get access to exclusive content, early access to podcasts and blogs. I've been Simpa, he's been Maga. This has been a wonderful Gary Youds. This has been Simpa Life. Please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do.
Bye.
Bye.